Hey everyone, this is Jerry with Big Dreams Little Homestead, and I wanted to thank, first of all, I wanted to thank Rob for mentioning me on his video, his recent video. I appreciate that, brother. Wasn't looking for that, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the people that came over and commented and subscribed. Really appreciate all of y'all that came through. Really made me feel good that a lot of people, get what we're trying to do here and appreciate it. And really, there's my neighbor dog. What we're doing is, you know, what my drive is to show people that not only if I can do it, anyone can do it. Not in the greatest health, I'm doing all right, but definitely have dropped some pounds. Probably going to drop some more because there's a lot of work involved. And so I wanted to go ahead. I got a lot of questions from that video that I made, and I wanted to go ahead and take some time and answer some questions for people. So let's go ahead and take us a seat down under this beautiful oak tree, and let's do that. First question I got, well, I got a lot of questions, but the first one I guess I'm going to answer was Elaine Short. And hi, Mr. Big Dreams. I was watching you make your dream come true, and I brought up I was working on the rain catchment, and I guess some guy had said something about direct sun can cause green stuff to grow. And this is actually very true. You can get algae, which can cause problems with filters and other things. It's not really water with algae. I'm not sure if, it's going to be filtered out regardless. But if you notice in that video, a couple of my tanks are already covered with black plastic. And all 4 of them will be covered that way. The barrels that are blue, you don't have to worry about that. But if all you can get is the white barrels, then you're going to need to either paint them or cover them or do something. So you definitely do not want direct sunlight to be in any kind of water that you're catching. So, and we're going to cover those tanks, and it'll be insulated, so that when winter comes, the water, won't freeze. And there's a lot of different designs out there as far as how to plumb your water and what to do. And a lot of people make a manifold between tanks that is just always going to be holding water. It's from PVC. You take PVC and you connect all the tanks using like a T that goes into the tank, and then the 2 outs will go to the pipes and go to different tanks. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want that problem. I didn't want that sitting there freezing. So yeah, you definitely got to cover the tanks or paint them. I've seen guys paint them. They say that reduces the life expectancy of the tank, so I didn't want to do that. So what I've heard is you want to get plastic that's 6 mil or better. Actually, the first plastic we got was 4 mil because that's just all we could get, and sometimes that's the way things are. You get what you can and you make do. Maybe at the end of the life expectancy of the cover of that tank, it'll be mostly duct tape covering all the holes, because it has gotten holes. So that is true. 6 mil plastic is probably better, and we've got 6 mil now for the other 2 tanks. So we'll be doing that, and there'll be a video of us covering the tanks so that y'all can see that. So that's something that'll be coming up. Another question. Surfcaster asks, what state and how many acres do you have? Well, we're in East Tennessee, and it's a it's a lovely place. And one thing I've noticed since we've lived here, and we've lived in this area for about almost 20 years now. Originally from Dallas, Fort Worth, but we've lived here for a very long time. Not this area, but about 30 miles, 40 miles to the west of here, southwest. And one thing we've noticed is that flooding, uh, tornadoes, hurricanes, of course, uh, earthquakes, all these things, this seems like a bubble area where we're just safe. It's a lovely place. If you're in a position to make a move, this is a wonderful place to come. Not to mention legislatively, with everything that we know is going on, this is a place that still allows you, like Missouri, where Rob's at, is a place where they just kind of let people live. And so, let's see. So yes, definitely cover your tanks with paint them, black plastic, whatever you can get. Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting comment here. Charles, let me see. Let me comment to Charles here in a minute. Charles, is that tall? Charles Tell. You might be able to run an electric power water wheel in the creek. Is Larissa Russian? Actually, she's French. She's a little French, a little German. And you spelled her name L-A, but her name is actually L-U-R-I-S-S-A. That's the French spelling. My wife is Russian, named Larissa. If you went to ketogenic diet, you could lose that extra weight and cure the apnea. Yeah, I know. And I've actually lost a lot of weight. Since my wife has been here, she's lost 100 pounds, believe it or not. It's crazy. I think a lot of that has to do with drinking spring water, which I know we showed you our water catchment. That's mainly for cleaning that water. We get our drinking water right now right up the road at a spring that people have been drinking out of for generations. It's got a little sulfur in it, which is good for you. So yeah, it has made that, just drinking clean water, natural spring water, does a lot for you. Let's see here. Now you mentioned, let's see, Charles mentions a power water wheel, and that is actually the first thing I thought when I came here. And what we want to do is, we thought about a Pelton wheel, but I don't think the flow we have is good for a Pelton wheel. But what we can do is run it down to an impeller. And there's a guy that put out a video about how to make a power generator with a computer fan, using it as an impeller and taking that spinning motion and then connecting it to one of the wheels off of a hoverboard. I really liked the way that setup looked, and it looked like it would work for us. So stay tuned. That is something that we have in the plans. You know, the thing with plans in a property like this, in a lifestyle like this, you get to what is on the first burner. My father flew jets in the Korean conflict, and one of the things he stressed over and over again was your burners. You got your first burner, your second burner, your third burner, your fourth burner. If you just take care of the burner that's the most immediate, then you can bring some control into your life, some order into your life. And so I've always tried to remember what he taught me. And of course, this is a fighter pilot we're talking about. So these things, these burners he's talking about, these are things he's doing at a moment's notice, at a split-second decision that either saved his life, kept him alive, or, and you know, he made it through. So not to mention 40 plus years flying for American Airlines. So, you know, I look to a lot of what he taught me. And that was one of the things he said, look at your life and the things that you have, you need to prioritize them. Are they a top burner, or are they further on down the line? But yeah, that is something we're definitely thinking about doing. I appreciate you, Dave Westman. Good first video. Thanks for the tour. Appreciate it. Rodney says, love your setup. I'm going to do the same. There you go. There you go. Best to you and yours from New Zealand. Keith, I appreciate that. Someone says they didn't know acorns were edible. Well, the thing with acorns, and the reason they fell out of favor, is because it is a process. You have to leach the tannins out. Whereas wheat, wheat, you just get the wheat, you know, you grind it down. You don't have to do all the processes that's involved with acorns. It is a more of an intense process, because you've got to basically soak it and run the water off and put fresh water on, and it's an intense process. And then we're going to be setting up a solar dehydrator, and then we'll put the acorns in the solar dehydrator and dehydrate them over probably a week or more, and then you can store them. We can take 55-gallon barrels and just store the acorn after we've done all those things. We've leached the tannins out of it, and then we've dehydrated them. Then you can just store them as the nut, and they will store for years and years and years like that. So, and then as you need to make bread, you know, produce your flour, you know, you bring out what you need and you break it down, you grind it down, and then you can make butters with it. I mean, there's all these things are online. There are people that are probably way better at educational teaching type videos, and those are the videos that I rely on for a lot of what you see here. Let's see here. James says he misses his 2 beagles and his chihuahua. I know how you feel, James. Let's see here. Iwawa1 said, I really liked your rain catchment setup. Well, it's kind of a hodgepodge of things I've seen over the years. And getting back to Rob, probably the reason that I even was introduced to Rob's channel is because I've been interested in the nomadic lifestyle. A lot of what you see, our system, are things I've watched nomads do, you know, as far as even in their rigs, like the solar. There's a guy that I'm going to give a shout out to. I don't know it right off the top of my head, so I won't do that here. But my solar system, there's a kid out of Las Vegas that was homeless and started teaching people about solar panels as he was building out other people's solar rigs, and he's so anal about everything, that the way everything is a process, and he gives all the details. There's nothing worse than watching a self-help video and they leave out processes that have to be completed without giving you that information. This guy, I'm telling you, start to finish, tells you the gauge of wire that I have it's all over gauged. I wanted it above, that way I would have no problems with wires heating up and possibly fire. So every whatever, if it asked for a 6 gauge, I used 4. That's just the way I built the system out. It's pretty much the way he taught. So when you see those cables I got, I mean they're pretty thick. They're big cables, especially the ones going to the battery. I mean I think it's a 0. I think that's the biggest you can get, or like one under the biggest. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but definitely it's always better to build something like that, overbuild it. That way you don't come back and have problems. You can try to save money wherever you can, but in electrical, I would say that's probably not a place that you want to try to save money, just in my opinion. But that shout out will come, because that kid, if you're looking to set up your solar, he's definitely someone to watch to get your ideals of what you're doing. I'm obviously not a electrician, although I did take 600 hours of commercial industrial wiring decades ago. So, you know, I had that under my belt, but that doesn't give you much, really, when you get down to it. Let's see here. So yeah, a lot of people wanted to know where we were. We're in East Tennessee. I'm not really going to give any more than that. But, Malik H says, congrats. Don't forget you have to vent them batteries because they let off gas. What I have are AGM batteries. They should not let off gas, but they can let off gas. It's absorbent glass mat batteries. And what Rob uses is just a straight lead acid battery. And to be honest with you, I spent a whole lot more on those batteries. And I'm kind of thinking I wish I would have gone with lead acid batteries, and I may actually replace those batteries and go with lead acid batteries, simply because I could have gone with 12-volt batteries, and I have 6 batteries. With 4 lead acid batteries, I could more than double my usable amp hours. So I may go to lead acid batteries, and that way instead of 6 batteries, I would have 4 batteries. But the reason I went with the 6 is because, again, with the nomadic lifestyle. And when I say I was into the nomadic lifestyle, I never actually, I did buy an RV. I bought a big Class A, but I never actually made the jump into the nomadic lifestyle, and I'm thankful that I didn't, because obviously this kind of life right here is just so much more enjoyable, because you don't have to wait on that dreaded knock that everyone, you know, hates to, see. So I am thankful that we didn't. And what's crazy about it is when I bought that RV, I was actually thinking of going to Santa Rosa, California. And I'm sure many of y'all remember what happened to Santa Rosa. And this was like just a few months before what happened there, and I'm so thankful that just fell through, and we never made that leap. So, God will definitely intervene in your life. At least I've seen it in my life. For those with faith and those without, you're welcome here too. So don't think that's not the case. So those are pretty much the questions that I had. I really just wanted to make a thank you video. I wanted to thank Rob. I wanted to thank all the people that came by and the new subscribers that we got on the channel. Stay tuned, because we have a lot that we're doing. Oh, and another thing, if you leave me a comment and it takes me a while to respond, please understand that we are off grid here, and I have to turn that inverter off depending on the battery level that we're at. And so I don't always have the internet. So if you leave me a comment, Please be patient, and I will try to respond to every single one. And if you have any more questions, feel free to let us know. Like I said, we're in East Tennessee. This is an acre and a half that we have here. It's long. It's long and thin, and we're sandwiched between a gravel road and a small little 2-lane road. So we're kind of nestled in here in the Great Smokies. And next time the mountains over here are smoky, I'll show you why they call them the Smoky Mountains, guys. Until next time, peace.